So we will read some reflections from Dhammapada on the other side. Now let us read the verses of the Dhammapada together. Mind is the forerunner of all evil states. Mind is chief. Mind mera de. If one speaks or acts with an unwholesome mind, because of that, suffering follows one, even as the wheel follows the hoof of the draft ox. Mind is the forerunner of all good states. Mind is chief. Mind mera de. If one speaks or acts with a pure mind, because of that, happiness follows one, even as one's shadow that never leaves. He abused me, he beat me, he defeated me, he robbed me. In those who harbor such thoughts, hatred is not appeased. He abused me, he beat me, he defeated me, he robbed me. In those who do not harbor such thoughts, hatred is appeased. Hatred is never overcome by hatred in this world. Hatred is only overcome by love. This is an eternal law. In the unessential, we imagine the essential. In the essential, we see the unessential. Anyone who entertains such wrong thoughts will never realize the truth. What is essential, we regard as essential. What is unessential, we regard as unessential. Anyone who entertains such right thoughts will realize the truth. Here one develops a mind that rejoices now, and in the future one rejoices. In both states, the well-doer rejoices. One who rejoices a lot will be able to see the purity of their own deed, speech, and thoughts. When one is happy now, they will be happy in the future. In both states, the well-doer is happy. Thinking I have done good in the past, one becomes happy and will easily experience a blissful state of mind. Though a person recites sacred texts but doesn't act accordingly, that heedless person is like a cowherd who counts others' cows. They have no share in the fruits of the holy life. Though a person recites a sacred text very little, but acts in accordance with the teaching, they give up lust, hatred, and delusion. They truly know what is good, and this leads to a mind that is free from suffering. They cling to nothing here and in the future. In this way, one shares the fruits of the holy life. Thank you for listening to that. And we will sit for a bit, and that there is another reading toward the end of this program in the next half hour or so. And that in that I will be talking about 10 things that a monk should reflect on often. So with that, we will end the program. But now, let us sit together and meditate. You may close your eyes and feel the gravity around you, noticing the temperature in your room with a deep inhaling and exhaling. To arrive at home, your heart base. Notice the silence, complete silence in between your thoughts as well. without rushing to go anywhere. We enjoy this silence as much as you can. Silence outside, silence inside. What is happening at this moment in your mind? Allow these phenomenon to happen as they come and go. They disappear into the unknown. And then there is silence again. Notice if you are drawn to your in breath and out breath naturally. You can begin observing the starting point and the ending point of each breath. See if your mind gets fixated on a certain point where your attention is directed to. Allow the mind to take delight in that one point where the breath is happening smoothly and that there is tranquility arising from this natural, silent process of breathing. Notice the rhythm of it. Now you can sense that thoughts are present, they come from different directions, and that they don't stay permanently, they disappear. Some of them try to stay longer, but we don't serve tea. We let them stay as long as they want, and they will disappear. And we peacefully stay with each breath happening and make it a delightful experience to the mind. We are just aware of all the things that is present at this moment. You may notice now that your attention goes to mindfully, slowly breathing in and breathing out. Nothing else is exciting externally, but our attention is on inhaling and exhaling. And maybe your attention is even more focused on where you feel your breath as you breathe in and breathe out rhythmically. You may now come out of your meditation slowly. Well, the computer is stuck. Anyway, I have, it's actually the poet. I can now, Zoom didn't disappear. It didn't, okay. I like to, yeah, so I can now give this to you.
I'm happy to wait for Carl to come back.
He's back in. Yeah. So this is from Anguttara Nikaya, that is a collection of numbered discourses of the Buddha. So in this collection, we have 10 things of this, 10 things of that. So that's how they are grouped. And these are 10 reflections that a monk should often reflect on. And the translation I gave to you is Bhikkhu Sujato's. The one I have is Bhikkhu Piyadassi, the Sri Lankan monk. So you'll see some differences when I read them. But I think these are also important for a layperson who is aspiring some sort of awakening or closeness to reality, freedom from troubles in their life, that they can also often reflect about these 10 things. So you think of yourself as a monk or a nun, and what if, I apply these to my life? So you can take that home actually. So you have the Pali on the other side, but I'm only going to read English for this session. Thus have I heard on one occasion the Blessed One was living near Savatthi at Jetavana at the monastery of Anathapindika. Then the Blessed One addressed the monks, saying, "Monks, Venerable Sir," they said by way of reply. The Blessed One then spoke as follows. These 10 essentials must be reflected upon again and again by one who has gone forth to live the holy life. What are these 10? I am now changed into a different mode of life from that of a layman. This must be reflected upon again and again by one who has gone forth. So that means you have shaven, you have shaved your hair, you have put on robes, and you resort to limited belongings, robes, your alms bowl, and so on. Very different from a layperson's life. Very few belongings. And you will see more and more how you also think of um, how you deal with the dear ones and so on as you read more. Number 2, my life depends on others. This must be reflected upon again and again by one who has gone forth. This means that you live on what is offered to you when you go to the village for alms round. This is something that a monk continuously reflect on, and that they have rules established so that when you follow them closely, that you can keep food with you overnight. That is also for your protection, and that you also don't become a person who accumulate things in your life. Number 3, I must now behave in a different manner. That means this must be reflected upon again and again by one who has gone forth. That means you will not be singing, dancing, or beautifying your body with makeup and so on. Number 4, does my mind upbraid me regarding the state of my virtue? This must be reflected upon again and again by one who has gone forth. That means, as I understand, that if you have broken any precept, your mind is telling you that you have done something wrong. There is remorse. There is that sense of impurity that comes to your mind, and you immediately reflect on the monastic code of discipline and you come back to purity. And there are different ways established in the teachings for monastics that this can be done through confessing to another senior monk and following the instructions of the monk, depending on what you may have broken. And number 5, do my discerning fellow monks, having tested me, reproach me regarding the state of my virtue? So do they say anything that, you should go back to certain, conduct? And this must be reflected upon again and again by one who has gone forth. So number 4 was about you questioning yourself. You ask the biggest question from yourself. Nobody else does, actually, because we personally have our own battle with our own mind. And you can tell a lie to someone, but when you ask that question from yourself, did you do this? Did you do that? That is the biggest question. That is the most important question. So Bhante Samit and I often reflect on that as we, take walks together and discuss Dhamma, discuss teachings. This comes to our mind. These are very powerful when you look at the questions that you ask from yourself. People can ask all kinds of questions from you, but the question you ask from yourself is the biggest question. And then, of course, number 5 says, do my discerning fellow monks, they come and ask questions from you, that they observe things, they may say, didn't you notice that you shut that door so abruptly or so, unmindfully? Is there anything that is bothering you in your virtue, in your life? This can be some fears that you are dealing with, some broken precepts, something that you are attached to that you are dealing with. It can be anything. So they are trying to help you. They are not trying to put you down. Yeah. And number 6, there will be a parting someday from all those who are dear and loving to me. Death brings this separation to me. This must be reflected upon again and again by one who has gone forth. This is an amazing quality. This also is part of 4 protections. Monks have 4 protections. Loving kindness is one of the protections. And recollection of impurities of your body, so that you are not continuously attached to your own body or other bodies, that you see the reality of the impurity, the impure nature of this body. And that helps you to protect your mind and focus on your goal. So loving kindness, focusing on impurities of body, and also reflecting on an awakened Buddha and his nature helps you to protect your mind. And also reflecting on death, that we will die on some day. And all these things that you are worried about will not be important to you by then. But why not think of it now and be free every time something comes and bothers you? So there will be a parting, that separation from dear ones. So you celebrate lives at this moment, thinking that this may be the only joyful, delightful moment that I have with this person. And it sometimes is true that you never hear from some people ever again. And this happens to me that I sent a text to this dear friend of mine who lived in Washington, D.C., a doctor who visited me time to time when he was visiting his family in Vermont. He had cancer, and for one whole year he has not been responding to my texts, and I have been sending my loving kindness to him. And then his friend Patrick visited me here and said, well, he passed away a year ago. So I started thinking, what was the last time that I actually met him in person and had a friendly time rejoicing in the company of each other. This was really delightful at that time, and that was my last time. And number 7, of karma I am constituted. Karma is my inheritance. Karma is the matrix. Karma is my kinsman. Karma is my refuge. Whatever karma I perform, be it good or bad, to that I shall be heir. This must be reflected upon again and again by one who has gone forth. So it is also showing that whatever we do mentally, the intention is karma. That intention, if it is like we read this morning, whatever things we do bodily and verbally is showing what our intentions are. And that is your inheritance. That shows how much anger you have, how much attachment you have, and that it shows, this is your inheritance when you continue to whatever the life that you are headed to in a future birth. And it is also in your present birth. It doesn't have to be a future birth necessarily. This is what you inherit. Karma as action, intention, chetana, as in Pali. And number 8, how do I spend my nights and days? This must be reflected upon again and again by one who has gone forth. It's very interesting how much time you spend on, unnecessary stuff. And without you knowing that they have an impact on your life. So this is a thing that you can reflect on. Sometimes as a monk, I remember going to a meditation in this place called Buddhangala, and we monks were bored, and we spent time preparing a walking path. And little did we know that it would rain that night, and that walking path will be disappeared. It was a lesson of impermanence. The place was flooded and it was disappeared. But what if we actually did meditate instead of spending time on bringing rocks and preparing that whole thing? That is, how much time that we spend on such things that we thought were important, but then they disappear overnight. Number 9, do I take delight in solitude? This must be reflected upon again and again by one who has gone forth. Number 10, have I gained superhuman faculties? Have I gained that higher wisdom so that when I am questioned on this point by fellow monks at the last moment when death is approaching, I will have no occasion to be depressed and downcast. This must be reflected upon again and again by one who has gone forth. These monks are the 10 essentials that should be reflected again and again by one who has gone forth to live the holy life. So spoke the Blessed One. Those monks rejoiced at the words of the Blessed One. So this number 9 and 10, number 9 is about seclusion and solitude. That solitude speaks to freedom from 5 hindrances. 5 hindrances including sense desire, aversion, sloth and torpor, restlessness, doubt. So sense desire, aversion, sloth and torpor, restlessness of your mind, and doubt. And solitude means freedom from these, freedom from any unwholesome states. And solitude also means freedom from seeing, hearing, smelling, continuously going toward these external stimuli. And now coming to solitude, just as we did in our meditation, is also silencing your thoughts completely. And I focused on silence in today's morning. And how much silence, how much delight that silence brings to us. Such a delightful thing. Do I take delight in solitude? And then last one, number 10, is when death has come to you. It says that someone who has kept precepts, they have a slow old age and a death like that they don't die with accidents, they say. That's a known thing among monks and, in Buddhist communities, that you have kept precepts, therefore no harm shall come to you. And as you are nearing death, and sometimes other monks or your fellow practitioners will recite, Majjhima Nikaya 143, where, advices are given to this wealthy layperson at the time of the Buddha, and these monks can go recite these suttas, and that at the end of these reflections, they can ask, have you attained something really higher, and can you reveal that to us? At that point, na manku bhavisami, you will not be silent. That means you have really put an effort to understand these higher teachings. You have delighted in solitude, and that there is fruits in your holy life that you can reveal to other monks. And that is, something that, monks can think about all the time. Am I going to be silent when asked, have you attained something superior? This can be like, I'm a stream winner. That is the first stage that a monk, that I have gone against the stream. And I am a once returner. I may return once to the sensual world. So I will never return to sensual world, but I will set my mind in pure abodes. So I may not do that. I may not even set my mind in pure abodes. I am completely done. That no more becoming. And that kind of revelation is when other monks know that, let us look after his body as such a pure person and bury him and maybe build a stupa like we have seen in Asian countries. Huge stupas are built with relics of monks and the Buddha to honor these monks. And even the Buddha asked, when Bahya passed away as a layperson, the Buddha said, build a stupa to honor him for his virtues. Anyway, enough talking. Any questions or no questions? Okay, no questions. Do you have any questions?
Probably. Did I have to think about them? No, it's fascinating.
Okay.
But not at this very second.
Okay. Let's share merits so that we can end the session. May the suffering ones be suffering free, fear struck fearless be. May the grieving shed all grief, may all beings find relief. May all beings share this merit that we have thus acquired for the acquisition of all kinds of happiness. May beings inhabiting space and earth, devas and nagas of mighty power, share this merit of ours. May they long protect the Buddha's dispensation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, Carl, for joining.
Thank you, Kusala.
Have a wonderful weekend.
Hope to meet you sometime, Kate. Take care.
Yes, likewise. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.